Welcome today. Let me unmute everyone. Make sure everyone's microphone's working. Okay, we have Sebastian. Hi, Sebastian.
Hi, Annie.
Hi. All right, and then Naomi.
Hi, Annie.
Hello, hello. And then Young. You there?
Hello.
Hello. Okay, excellent. So we usually have more come as time goes on, but we will go ahead and get started so we can kind of get to everyone today. All right, I'm going to mute everyone, and then we'll start with Young. I have you here first. Hi, Young.
Hi.
How are you today?
My name is Younga, and this
Younga?
is my maybe third time to your study group. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so what were kind of the things that we worked on last time that you've been practicing on your own?
We practiced a little daily conversation, and you suggest me to register in American Conversational Partner, so I did.
Oh, good.
But I haven't started yet.
Oh, okay.
Because of the time difference.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you guys been able to work out a time yet, or is that still, you're still working on it?
And these days I've been very busy, so I didn't enough time to practice my English.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do this. I'm going to pull up something for you to read.
Oh, thank you.
And let's go ahead and do that today. It usually brings up a lot of like new vocabulary that maybe you don't do in conversation. And so we can kind of pull out some things that maybe we don't know are a problem yet. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to start with this talk today, a better way to talk about love. I just like it because it kind of talks about a little bit about some of the semantics of language and kind of the way we use the word love in English.
What is semantic? What is semantic?
Semantics is just the way that we use words. It's just kind of talking about, you know, when we have more of a semantical problem, it's more of like if we have a miscommunication and it's more semantics, it's just because we're using words different. Like we're using words that mean one thing to someone else and another thing to another person. So it's just the way we interpret language and the way we interpret words. And so semantics is just kind of that, yeah, the science of words. Okay. All right, good question though. Okay, so let's go ahead here and go ahead and start reading with, okay, so today, and just try and bring in as much intonation as if you were giving this speech, and we'll kind of pull it all together, okay?
All right. Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so today I want to talk about how we talk about love, and specifically, I want to talk about what's wrong with how we talk about love.
So do this connection for me, and specifically.
And specifically.
Good, just a little bit more kind of continuous. Instead of dropping that D, we want to keep that D in there, but just link it into the next, okay? And then keep going.
Most of us will probably fall in love a few times over the course of our lives. And in the English language, this metaphor, falling, is really the main way that we talk about that experience. I don't know about you, but when I conceptualize this metaphor, what I picture is straight out of a cartoon, like there's a man, he's walking down the sidewalk without realizing it. He crosses over an open manhole and he just plummets into the floor below. And I picture it this way because falling is not jumping. Falling is accidental. It's uncontrollable. It's something that happens to us without our consent. And this is the main way we talk about starting a new relationship.
Good. Okay, I'm just going to adjust a few vowels here, okay? So do this for me. Most of us will probably, probably.
Probably.
Good. I don't know about you. Oh, rounder. I don't know about you.
I don't know about you.
I don't know about you.
No.
Good. And then I'm going to get a longer E on this one. He's walking down the sidewalk.
He's walking down the sidewalk.
Good. Into the sewer below.
Sewer below. Sewer below.
Good. Okay, so do those again for me without my model.
Probably.
So instead of probably, probably. We're going to do first syllable stress. Probably.
Probably.
Good. Perfect.
Probably.
So first syllable stress on that one. Okay, do
Probably.
this.
Don't know.
I don't know about you.
I don't know about you.
Good. And then this one.
He's walking down the sidewalk.
Perfect. And then into
the sewer below.
I love it. Okay, you got such a good ear for that. Okay, so vowels. That's what I want you to kind of focus on a little bit more this week. Have you gotten to the vowels lessons 5, 6, and 7 in modules 5, 6, and 7? Okay.
Yeah.
So just keep kind of working through those vowels, working through the minimal pairs exercises and videos in that one, and just kind of tuning your ear a little bit more to the vowel sounds, especially the more rounded ones. Ow, ah, ooh, some of those ones, okay? Ow, ah, ooh. All right? All right, good job, Younga. You're doing great. And I remember now you're a musician, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'm remembering now kind of what we've been working on in the past.
Can you pronounce the word probably one more time?
Yeah, so first syllable stress, and so the first syllable is going to get more of that emphasis. So that's why that ah is a little bit longer and more pronounced. Probably. Probably. Yeah.
Probably.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, good job, Younga. All right, good. Okay, Naomi, let's go ahead for you.
Hi.
Hi, Naomi. Hello.
Hello.
All right. How can I best help you today, Naomi?
I'd like to have a little bit of conversation because I'm preparing for a job interview.
Okay, good. Okay, so when we do this, I want you to be kind of slowing down, moving your mouth more, kind of using those 3 easy tips. Just as like with conversation, that's always what we come down to first, okay? Because it's hard to remember all of the different sounds that you've been working on and, you know, all that, all the details. But if we can bring it back to just slow down, move your mouth, speak up, then that's the focus, and then your mouth is able to do the things that it's been practicing, okay?
Okay.
All right, good. So tell me how your practice is going and what's kind of been the latest there.
I have already finished the program.
Okay.
So I'm just practicing talking with myself at home in English, just to practice.
Okay, tell me, how do you have other English speakers around you that you are able to practice with, or are you?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, so not around English speakers. And tell me kind of what's your motivation with English? What are you kind of working towards, or your goals with how you want to use English?
I have already applied for an English speaking position in British Petrol, which is a multinational company.
Okay, so what kind of position again? Say that again.
it's an English speaking position, and the name of the position is Materia Master Data Administrator.
Okay, we're gonna work on that one. Material, is that what you said?
Yeah, Materia Master Data Administrator.
Master data, what?
Administrator.
Administrator. Okay, so we're gonna get real clear and precise about this title, okay? Because when we kind of slip through it, it's new information for your listener, okay? So for me, you could have said anything, you know, in that, you know, I'm applying for, and you could have said anything. And so so it opens it wide open. So instead of contextually me being able to kind of make connections, I have to go off of exactly what you say. And so it makes it even more important to have that precision in the pronunciation of this. So do this for me, material.
Okay, I didn't know the right pronunciation of materia.
Okay.
So it's materia.
Which is second syllable stress, material. Material. I'm gonna and we're getting that second syllable, material. Okay, good. And then the next part, okay, material master.
Materia master.
Master, and there's, you know, nothing too crazy about that one. Master, but first syllable stress. Material master. Do that for me.
Materia master.
Okay, and then don't drop off the ending. So I'm hearing master and kind of dropping that R sound. Material master.
Materia master.
There you go. Data, long A, data. So data. Administrator. So that's going to be second syllable stress. Okay, so administrator.
Sometimes I have problems with finding the correct stress of a word.
Yeah. So this is a good example of some of those multisyllabic words that are going to be a little bit challenging in figuring out the stress pattern. So a lot of times what we have to do is kind of purposefully find it. So when we have these multisyllabic words, we have to say, okay, there's going to be a stressed syllable, and I've got to figure out which syllable is being stressed. Dictionary.com always puts a stress syllable or a stressed asterisk by the stress syllable. You can also do the Rudin Phonetics app. Are you familiar with the Rudin Phonetics app on the website?
Yeah, but it's so hard to memorize all the words.
Yeah.
There are many words in English language.
Oh yeah, for sure. And what we have to do is, here's the strategy with word stress. It's not about memorizing every word. It's about tuning our ear to the stress pattern. So when you hear something, we have to bring our attention to the stress pattern. So when you hear that rise, like when someone's saying it, we have to start, really practice listening for where do they rise and how do I match that? Okay. So as you're hearing people, and that's why with like Young Ah, because she's a musician, she's used to listening to the, intonation patterns and the musicality of speech. And so she's picked up on that. You have to train yourself in the way you're listening. And that's just a matter of, awareness is first. You've kind of brought that awareness. So now as you're listening, we're just kind of listening for more of like, how are other people kind of up and down with their voice? Okay, let's start paying attention to the way other people are doing this. So material master, I'm gonna master data administrator. So this is first syllable stress, second syllable stress right here.
Material master data administrator. Administrator.
Good, good. Okay, that makes such a big difference when you get the word stress on there, because then it helps me, my ear follow, and you're stressing and emphasizing those vowels in those the stressed part of the word. So say it in a whole sentence. I'm applying for the position of, and then do this.
I'm applying for the position of Material Master Data Administrator.
Okay, and then keep that strong R at the end there too. Administrator.
What does it actually mean? What does it actually mean? Material Master.
Material Master? Is that what the name of the position
no,
is?
but no, I don't know its meaning. What does it mean?
Material?
Yeah, no, I know material, but Material Master Data, it's like three words next to each other for me, so I don't know the meaning.
Oh, okay. So is this the right, did I get it right as far as what the title of your position is? Is this the right words?
Yeah.
Okay. So Material Master, and I don't know what industry this is. What industry are you working on? Because material could be anything tangible.
British Petrol, it's an oil and gas company.
It's an oil
and gas company.
Gas company. Okay. So Material Master, the material that you're working with is oil and gas.
Yeah, yeah.
So
and master data.
Master data. Master means like the best, like master.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and then data is dealing with numbers. Is that what it is? Kind of dealing with the data, dealing with the numbers and the kind of inputting numbers.
Yeah, working on computer and dealing with data.
Yeah. Yep. And then administrator is more of a leadership role. Yeah.
But does it make sense in English? The name of the position?
Oh, okay. I get you what you're saying. If I knew the industry, maybe it would. When you say that Material Master Data Administrator, I wouldn't have known exactly what you were doing for the job. But I'm also not in that industry to know exactly what that means. So it makes sense in terms of like, I could break it down and figure out what that might mean in context. But it's unfamiliar to me personally.
So only those people understand this who are in the industry or who know the industry?
Probably. But one thing, when someone asks you kind of what you do for a living, depending on the level of knowledge that person has of the industry, you could simplify it in terms of just like, I help people, or I help my company, or I collect data for my company, and I'm in a leadership role. So if you're an administrator, it would be more, I'm in a leadership role of bringing together data for my company. And so that would make more sense for me as an outsider as far as like what you do for work or what the position is. But it's good to practice some of these terms if you're using them with the company. So if it's an English speaking company and this is the term that they're using, then it's good to practice these specific words so that as you go into that job position, you're able to articulate that.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have to kind of take the context of what we're needing to be in, whatever setting you're in, that's where we want to kind of practice that kind of language. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, take that and practice it. But I think it's more about word stress, kind of getting that word stress and slowing down and getting, starting to really train your ear to like what parts of the word are they stressing and can I match that? Okay, so when you hear someone say a word, think, okay, where was the emphasis? I'm going to emphasize that part of the word too.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Annie.
Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you.
All right, good. Okay, Sebastian, let's go ahead.
Hi, Annie.
Hello, sir. Okay, how can I help you today?
Still, I would like to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move back in here. Was I sharing that? I'm just realizing now that I might not have been sharing this.
What is it? Yeah.
Were you guys seeing this when I was just talking to Naomi?
No, sorry.
Oh, darn
I
it.
didn't
Sorry,
see that
Naomi.
it was-
I apologize. I was writing this out for you,
Okay.
but not
Material.
sharing it.
Sorry.
So Naomi, if you wanted to kind of take note of this real quick or make a screenshot or something like that, and I could actually even send this to you. If you send me an email, I'll shoot this over to you after the class today. I apologize. I wasn't sharing that. That would have helped you kind of know as we were going along. Okay, I will move back into this right here. Okay, let's start with this next paragraph. I am a writer. Okay, let's start there. Tell me what kind of things you're going to be focusing on as you read this. What areas have we talked about that need to be
maybe
concentrated
last time I got the feedback on vowel, so
okay.
you can
We'll
look
work on the, okay. So you just right then you emphasize the second syllable in vowel. So you said vowel, and I want it to be vowel, vowel.
Vowel.
So it's almost like it's just one syllable, vowel.
Okay.
Instead of vowel, well, vowel.
Okay.
Okay, so we're working on the vowels.
Working on the vowel. Vowel.
Good. Okay. All right, go ahead here.
Okay. I am a writer and I'm also an English teacher, which means I think about words for a living. You should say that I get paid to argue that the language we use matters. And I would like to argue that many of the metaphors we use to talk about love, maybe even most of them are a problem.
Here, get this stronger R in English teacher.
English teacher. English teacher.
Good.
Words.
Good. Words. And let's get that z.
Words. Words.
Okay.
Words.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, a little bit more of the voice on the DZ. So words. Z. Z.
Okay. Words. 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 Like words.
There you go. Do it again.
I think about words. Words.
Very good. Yeah,
words.
much better. Z, 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 z.
Yeah, yeah. It's difficult for me.
It's so tricky, I know.
Yeah.
So the da 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 da. We're gonna still get that voice D.
Da 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 da. Does words.
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 Better. Okay. It's a matter of getting that, keeping that voice on. Z, z. So put that on your like problem words list, and just something that you kind of repeat and get that repetition on. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Say this for me. Language.
Language. Language.
Okay. So I'm hearing more of a ch, the CH sound instead of a j sound. So the only difference there is the voice. So we're in that voice needs to be on. Language.
Language. Language.
Okay, and if we have to kind of overemphasize it at the beginning to get that voice on, that's fine. And then we'll kind of pull it down a little bit. But language.
language, language, language,
Language.
language. I don't know why it does not come.
Yeah, so we just have to
Language.
overemphasize it, because what you're used to doing is kind of that devoicing that we talked about in the module 1, kind of the final voice consonants, when we talked about making voiceless sounds or voiced sounds voiceless. At the end of words is a very common problem. So j, 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 da, 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 you know, some of these voiced endings.
Da, ja, ja, ja.
J, 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 j. Yeah. So it's
Ja,
that j sound.
ja, 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 ja.
So there in the bonus lessons, there's more practice with that j, j, j sound that you could just kind of train in a little bit more. J, j, j. Okay. Language. Do that slow.
Language, 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 language.
And if you have to put a vowel at the end, ja, ja, kind of like you're going to say
language,
judge.
ja, judge, ja, judge, ja, judge, judge.
Language.
Language.
There you
language.
go. So that would be training your voice to kind of get on and stay on through the ending of that. If you put a vowel at the end, ja, but then, so language.
Language, 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 language.
So put the vowel at the end of it.
Language, 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 language.
So what you would do is you would practice it with the vowel at the end, and just to get your voice on. But then we have to drop the vowel. You know, eventually we have to drop the vowel. Language.
Language, language, language. Is it okay? No.
Yeah, that's better.
Language, language.
Okay, so we're gonna hold on. I don't want you to keep practicing it. Let's
you still hear CH?
Yeah, go. Yeah, hearing more of the TH. Will you go into the bonus lessons and pull up that j sound worksheet this week and kind of practice it in different positions and listen to the audio and kind of work on getting that voice on there for that j, j, j sound, especially at the end of words. And then let's kind of revisit that again. Okay. But I need the listening needs to kind of be there in terms of, do you hear the voicing or do you hear the ch sound? You know, and the listening exercise and things like that will help.
I hear your voice. I think I am feeling that I'm saying perfectly, but
so that's the trick. That's the trick is being able to tune your ear to, like, if you're saying it with the voice on or off.
But when I record, I hear also CH.
Okay.
Yeah, I also hear CH.
When you record yourself, do you say you do hear it?
Yeah.
Incorrect or correct?
Incorrect.
Okay, so you're able to hear it when you listen to yourself in a recording, but it's a little bit hard when it's in real time. Okay. Yeah. So that practice of recording yourself is really powerful in being able to self-correct. Okay. Because I'm not going to always be there to be able to help correct you. But if you can kind of develop that self-correcting through the recordings, that's really, really helpful. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I'm little bit of behind the schedule. I have already received 11, but I did not work on 10 also. Yeah. So
and that's fine. Just go at your own pace. Don't go faster than you need to. And this is for everyone. I'd rather you take your time on the lessons than speed through them. Just because if you land on a lesson that requires more practice for you, I want you to take the time to practice that because that's the only way we're going to adjust those sounds, is if you take the time necessary for that adjustment.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't feel rushed by the schedule. It's just kind of a way of pushing you through.
I have that feeling sometimes, but
yeah,
thank you
I know.
for saying this. Thank you.
Definitely go at your own pace. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good job,
Thank you,
Sebastian.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to remember, is that this is just a suggested schedule. You can go slower. I definitely appreciate, taking the time on the lessons that really are necessary to you. And if you want to go faster than the pace, you can definitely kind of purchase one of the yearly memberships and then go, faster than the weekly schedule, if that's where you are. So we want to make sure it's adjusted for you and what you need individually. Okay, Vadna, let's go ahead.
Hello, Annie. How are you?
Great. All right. How can I help you today?
So, I'm still working on the linking part.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, I want to practice that.
Okay. So let's go ahead with this next paragraph, that linking. I know sometimes it takes a little bit of a warm up, so maybe go through this paragraph and then we'll go through it again.
Okay.
And working on those chunks and, being fluid within the chunks. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, in love, we fall. We are struck. We are crushed. We swoon. We run with passion. Love makes us crazy.
Here, do that again. We burn with passion.
We run with passion. Love
Okay, get
makes...
that B. Burn.
Oh,
Burn.
We burn with passion.
Mm-hmm.
Love makes us crazy, and it makes us sick. It
Okay, do that one
makes
again.
us sick.
There you go.
Our hearts ache, and then they break. So our metaphors equate the experience of loving someone to extreme violence or illness.
Mm-hmm. Violence. So instead of, there's kind of the I-O, but violence.
By violence.
Mm-hmm. Good. Violence. Okay. So I like how she says that. We swoon, we burn, we makes us crazy and sick. She's kind of talking about some of these words we use when we talk about love in the English language. Heartache, break, And it seems like it equates, or it's the same as a violent, extreme violence or illness. So the same words we use for like violence and illness, we're using to describe love, which is kind of funny. Okay, so let's go back here. So do these again. We swoon. Get that N at the end.
We swoon.
We burn with passion.
We burn with passion.
So that's that WB combination.
We burn with
Yeah, we gotta get
passion.
B has to be both lips together. Burn.
We
and then
burn with passion.
Extreme violence. Get that V in there. Extreme violence.
Extreme violence.
Good. So those B's and W's and V's, just getting
these
the
are a
lips
little
all
bit confusing for me.
Yeah, it takes that practice. Okay,
Yes.
so let's try that paragraph again. And, we've kind of done a little bit of a warm up, gotten that going. So now let's get that linking going really well.
Okay. So in love, we fall, we are struck, we are crushed, we swoon, we burn with passion. Love makes us crazy, and it makes us sick. Our hearts ache, and then they break. So our metaphors equate the experience of loving someone to extreme violence or illness.
Okay, So kind of follow the intonation pattern that I do. I'm going to kind of do it chunk by chunk, okay? So
Okay.
in love, we fall.
So in love we fall.
We're struck.
We are struck.
We are crushed.
We are crushed.
We swoon.
We swoon.
We burn with passion.
We burn with passion.
Good. Okay, so I in that scenario, I went down on each, each ending.
Mm-hmm.
When you were doing it, you were going up with each ending, which actually could be fine because it is almost like it's almost like we're doing a list intonation. So in love we fall, we're struck, we are crushed, we swoon, we burn with passion.
Mm-hmm.
We burn with passion. So like this whole phrase could be taken as like more of a list of things.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it was wrong or anything. I'm just kind of pointing out the difference in how, you kind of did it as more of like we're listing off things versus it could also be done. So in love, we fall, we're struck, we're crushed, we swoon, we burn with passion.
So
Okay.
in
So
okay.
there's different ways to do it. So kind of do that section again.
Okay. So in love we fall. We are struck. We are crushed. We swoon. We burn with passion.
So we kind of brought that down. Love makes us crazy and it makes us sick. So we're going to kind of contrast there. It makes us crazy and it makes us sick.
Love makes us crazy and it makes us sick.
Our hearts
Our
ache.
hearts ache and then they break.
Yeah, again, kind of the contrast. Good.
So our metaphors equate the experience of loving someone to extreme violence or illness.
So our metaphor equates the experience of love. So we're contrasting. So our metaphor equates the experience of loving someone to extreme violence or illness.
So here, like where I have to make first chunk, could you give me some idea?
Yeah. So our metaphors.
So
So
our
let's see. Our
metaphors
metaphors
equate the
equate the
experience.
experience of loving someone, and I'm contrasting these extreme violence and illness. So loving someone to extreme violence or illness.
Okay. So our metaphors equate the experience of loving someone to extreme violence or illness. Violence or illness.
Exactly. So as we're kind of looking through, you can see kind of how there's, we're going list intonation, we're going contrasting two ideas, and our voice, emphasizes the two things we're contrasting. Sometimes, it can go up and then down on the two
Yeah.
things that we're contrasting. So this is actually a really good paragraph showing you a lot of different ways that we use that intonation to
Yes.
emphasize key ideas. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good job, Vadna. You're
Yeah.
getting more and more aware of that intonation every time. Okay.
Thank you,
All
Annie.
right. You're welcome. All right. Let's see. Amadou and then Lodwick and then Ayumaidi. So Amadou, you there?
Yes, I'm there. How are you?
Okay, great. Okay, how can I best help you today?
I can still work on my intonation.
Okay, so I want you to actually do that paragraph that we just worked on. I want to hear your interpretation of this, and instead of kind of the rising intonation at the end of this, with the list here at the beginning, I want you to do the falling intonation that I had demonstrated. Okay.
Okay, for the first sentence, right?
So this we're so in love we fall, and you can do the whole paragraph here.
Okay, so in love we fall, we struck.
So
We are crushed.
struck. Do that one. We're struck.
We are struck. We are crushed. We swoon. We burn with passion. Love make us crazy, and and makes us sick.
And it makes us sick.
Makes us sick. Our hearts ache and then they break. So our metaphors equate the experience of loving someone to extreme violence or illness.
Okay, connect that to extreme violence or illness.
To extreme violence or illness.
Good. Okay, so do it one more time. We'll just kind of get that flow to it.
The whole paragraph?
Yeah, so the whole paragraph.
Okay, so in love we fall, we struck, we are crushed, we sworn, we burn with passion. Love makes us crazy and makes us sick. Our hearts ache and then they break. So our metaphors equate the experience of loving someone to extreme violence or illness.
Good. Okay, a lot smoother, a lot kind of more connected in that second time around. Do this for me. Metaphors. Metaphors.
Metaphors.
Good. First syllable stress there. Okay, so now let's do the next paragraph. And I want you to kind of keep that intonation going through this next one, okay?
Okay. They do, and they position us as a victim or unforeseen and totally unavoidable circumstances. My favorite one of this is smitten, which is the past participle of the word smite. And if you look this word up in the dictionary, you'll see that it can be defined as both grievous affliction and to be very much in love. I tend to associate the word smite with a very particular context, which is the Old Testament. In the book of Exodus alone, there are 16 references to smitten, which is the word that the Bible uses for the vengeance of an angry God.
Okay, I'm loving that. I like that downward intonation that you use throughout those next two paragraphs. So you're getting that falling intonation in your reading. Good. Are you kind of, as you're reading, is that more of the focus as you're reading?
Yes, I think it's easier for me to do that in reading than in conversation because when I speak English, I try to use my French intonation, but I have to use the foreign intonation. So I'm trying to work on it. So as you pointed out last week, so I try to practice to use that foreign intonation in my conversation.
Good. And just as you did that, so it's interesting because we just kind of practiced the reading and the falling intonation. And then as you were describing that, you did a great job getting the falling intonation in that conversational sample just then. So it's working. It's working, Amadou. You're figuring it out. You're getting that falling intonation. And I think that practice of kind of reading out loud with that focus of falling, and then we'll help you kind of carry it more into your conversation and bringing that awareness and conversation of falling. Okay? Okay. Yeah, you're doing it. I love it. I'm hearing good things.
Yes.
Okay, keep it up, Amadou.
Okay.
All right, good job. All right, excellent. Okay, Lodwick?
Yeah?
All right. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay, how can I help you?
Yeah, I sent you an email yesterday with Kendall, I guess.
Oh, okay. I didn't quite see it. Sorry.
No problem. I was asking about the next step, and we already talked about it yesterday, last week. And she named the Alumni courses, and I didn't knew them, so I'm gonna start after course.
Oh, good.
So, but I didn't. What is the Alumni course? Is it just to go further?
Yeah. So alumni. Yeah. So alumni is second syllable stress. So it's going to be the alumni course. So the alumni course is, well, maybe she misunderstood kind of what you're specifically looking for, because you're specifically looking for very direct work on your music and things like that, right?
Yeah, the tongue drop.
Okay, so
You know
the alumni course is the continued lessons after the 12 modules, which it gives you, you know, more things to work on. But for you, you're wanting to do more specific work, more customized work. So the alumni program, I don't think is actually going to be specific enough for you.
Okay.
So what I would more recommend is either the live lessons or getting you set up on more of we could do the alumni feedback lesson, or alumni feedback option, which is you sending in recordings every month and getting that personalized private feedback through the recordings. So the alumni feedback option might be your best.
Alumni feedback, yeah.
Unless you want to do, unless you're wanting to do more of the live lessons. But honestly, my opinion is the alumni feedback, or a version of this, because I don't know how often you want to do it, because alumni feedback is one recording per month for feedback.
All right. Yeah.
And I don't know if you want more than that and more often, if you're kind of in more of a hurry with that. But we could set up a more customized feedback option for you.
Yeah, but this week we also had preparing a speech, and so we also have to send a recording of our speech.
Mm-hmm.
But
for
this
module 10.
Yeah, but this is something totally different, right? Right.
Yeah. So once you finish the 12 modules, then we give you a little bit more of these. Alumni just means that you've finished the 12 modules. You've kind of graduated from that.
Yeah.
So we kind of have a little bit different options after you do the 12 modules of things to keep you moving forward and keep things rolling.
Yeah.
More customized for you. And so let's do this. If you want to do more recordings than the one per month, we can kind of set up a more customized package. Because I think in what you're wanting to do, because you're wanting to kind of practice your specific songs, right?
Yeah, it's singing, and it's also rapping, but rapping is very fast, and singing is a little bit slower, but it's also you can hear the Dutch. Maybe the Dutch, my Dutch. I spoke Dutch my whole life. You know, I don't think you can totally turn it into a native. My friends say that, but yeah,
it's a lot easier. So it's a lot easier to do in like a song form than in regular conversation. You'll notice that in different musicians, where in their songs they've refined it to the point where it sounds very native, but when they go into a interview, they have very much more of their accent. And that's because it's a set scripted, you know, song. They worked and practiced on that specific script. And really detailed it out and figured out exactly how to do it with more of the American, you know, pronunciation and things. And so if that's what you're wanting to do, then that's what we would do with these recordings, is we would concentrate it more on the specific song that you're working on, or the rap, or, you know, whatever it is, and break it down so that you knew exactly what it needed to sound like.
Now maybe it's an option. It's an option, but maybe some one-on-one lessons are also not very are maybe required to do.
Yeah, if it's more of a scripted thing like this, the live lessons would definitely be an option. The recordings might help you more because you can play it over and over again. So like So when you kind of do your recording, then the trainer could kind of correct you on it, and then you can listen back and really figure it out. It's almost like the recording part would allow you to kind of get that repetition with it versus live, maybe not as much. So in terms of what you're working on, I actually think the recordings would be more helpful.
All right.
You know, for you.
Yeah, okay, I would listen to you, but is it, what are the prices of the Alumni Feedback course?
Yeah, so I have to go look back on that and send you, let me kind of send you what the pricing is for the one per month. And then I could kind of calculate what, you know, what it would be if we wanted to do more often than just the one.
If you can write down a plan or something. Would be really
so
nice.
Send me an email. I know you sent me an email yesterday, and I'll kind of pull that up. But send me an email that kind of maps out saying like how often you would want to do the recordings per month, and kind of your timing as far as how much you could kind of keep up with. And we could do a package that just has like X amount of recordings. And pull that together for you.
And maybe some lessons or
just kind of write out what you think that you would like to do, and I can give you some options.
That's
through that.
Okay, that's great. And a friend of mine was saying that my mine and A, because I practiced it so clearly and with such a high pronunciation, it's now a little bit off the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So a lot of times what happens is we kind of overemphasize, and then we have to kind of pull it back down to more of a natural, natural sound to it. Yeah, it gets worse before it gets better. Yes.
But my question was, when I'm gonna speak like in a smooth way, not so over pronounced.
Yeah. So when I listen to you, kind of the the fluidity, I guess, if that's a word, kind of moving from one word to the next instead of like using filler words or kind of halting and figuring out what to say next. That's more affecting the fluency than the pronunciation. So once we kind of get more of that fluid movement, a few filler words here and there is fine. But if you do a couple of words and then you kind of stop and pause to figure out what the next word needs to be, that creates that halting that we've got to address first and make sure it's nice and fluid. And I don't know if that's like a translation thing, whether you're trying to figure out what words to say or how to say it.
No, I'm just a little
that's
bit
where the
stuck
live
in
lessons
pronouncing that I've learned it that way because I had to get my mouth in the correct shape.
Yeah.
But
and that's why I say it gets worse than it gets better, is because you're thinking a lot about where your mouth is, and so now we kind of have to pull it into more of that fluid movement. That's where those live lessons would probably be really helpful for you.
Yeah, and also time, right?
What's that?
And also time, right? Because it's I hope it's with time. You hear it? Time. It gets better.
Right. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. One practice that I would recommend too is recording yourself and saying, okay, I'm going to speak about this topic. I'm going to record myself, and then I'm going to listen back to it and see if it's halted, or if I can speak with a more continuous flow, and then try that again. Can I speak with a continuous flow without kind of jumping back and forth or stalling or using filler words, but I can just kind of flow forward. So that recording option, live option, all these things will definitely help. So let's work on that, figuring out kind of a plan together.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I'll because all these recommendations, all these things that I think would be real helpful for you, it just kind of depends on what kind of plan we come up with. Okay.
And my T is not very, is a little bit weird, I think, but maybe
Okay.
it's in my head.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
Some
too
things that,
perfectionist.
yeah, some things that we can look together as a whole, because what works the best is being able to kind of say, okay, what's the biggest problem? Let's work on that, and then we can kind of refine it down and down and down.
Okay. So you don't
Okay.
want to do now some exercises.
So now I need to jump into Almighty and
Okay.
because some of the
And
things
what?
that we need to work on are more customized. Okay.
Yeah, all right. I understand. And one question: what are the prices, or you can't tell right now?
Oh, we would be coming up with a customized things for you. So I just have to kind of look at what the pricing is and
Yeah, but
adjust it for you.
can I have to be sort of how do you say it in English? What can I have in my head?
I'm not sure yet. We'll talk about it here soon. And literally after this class, I'll email you.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks.
Bye bye.
All right. Almighty, let's go ahead.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you. All right. Okay. How can I best help you?
Yeah, I would like to read.
Okay. Let's do some reading here. Let's see. So tell me kind of where in the program you're working right now. What's kind of your focus? So as I'm listening, I can kind of help you.
Module 8.
Module 8. Okay. All right. Excellent. So we'll be pulling everything together and helping you bring that all together. So start here where it says, here we are using.
Here we are using the same word to talk about love that we use to explain a plague of locusts.
So here, this word is going to be plague.
Okay, plague.
So it's kind of like leg with a P at the beginning. Plague. Long A. Plague.
Okay.
Plague of locusts.
Okay, plague of locusts.
Good. So let's just even go back to this one sentence and let's kind of get that fluid movement. So you're doing a really good job getting the sounds in place. So now we're just kind of make it flow. Because what's happened through the program, a lot of times what happens is we zoom in on all the sounds, we get really good at the sounds, but then we are so concentrated on the sounds that it affects the rhythm and the flow. Okay. So we're going to get back into the flow of things now that you've done such a good job getting the sounds in place. Here we are using, so do that for me.
Here we are using
the same words to talk about love.
The same word to talk about love.
That we use to explain a plague of locusts. Here, let me.
That we used to explain a plague of locusts.
Here we are using, and we'll break here. So do that with these chunks. Here we are using the same words to talk about love that we use to explain a plague of locusts.
Okay. Here we are using the same word to talk about love that we use to explain a plague of locusts.
Beautiful. Okay, nice flow to that. All right, do that with this next one. So, how did it happen?
So, how did this happen?
Okay, so we got to get those H's in there, and I remember this from last time. So here and how. So how did this happen?
How did this happen?
Happen.
Happen.
How did this happen?
How did this happen?
Okay, keep going. How have, ooh, this is a good one for you because there's a lot of H's in here.
Yeah.
How have we come? Do that for me. How have we come?
How have we come?
Good. Very nice. Do that again.
How have we come?
To associate love with great pain.
To associate love with great pain.
Okay, so I like how you're connecting this all together. And suffering.
and suffering.
Okay, so do that from the beginning of this paragraph until suffering. Okay, so do those chunks, get that connection, get those H's.
Okay. So how did this happen? How have we come to associate love with great pain and suffering?
Very nice. Okay, keep going.
And why do we talk about this ostensibly good experience as if we are victims?
Mm-hmm.
These are difficult questions, though I have some theories.
Mm-hmm.
And to think this through, I want to focus on one metaphor in particular, which is the idea of love as madness.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's start this right here. And to think this through.
Okay. And to think this through.
Good. I want to focus on one metaphor.
I want to focus on one metaphor.
In particular.
In particular.
Which is the idea of love as madness.
Which is the idea of love and madness.
Mm-hmm. Love as madness.
Okay. Which is the idea of love as madness.
Mm-hmm. Good. So what we're going to do, we're going to kind of transition, Ayomide, is you're doing a really good job getting your mouth moving and in place and into those sounds. So now we're going to kind of shift it into the rhythm. Okay. We want to get that nice smooth movement and the intonation pattern. So it's kind of, we've zoomed in. Now we're going to kind of zoom out. And besides the H sound, I would say still kind of make sure that H sound gets in place.
Okay.
But for the most part, you're doing a lot of good things with your sounds of English. Okay, so we're going to zoom out and we're going to say, okay, how can we get that nice flow and rhythm to it? And it really comes down to this practice of reading out loud, identifying the chunks, and then trying to get that smooth transition between the chunks. So that linking, connecting smoothly and keeping your voice on through that chunk will help you get that flow from word to word. Okay?
Okay.
So practice that this week, and then we'll come back and address it some more. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So much.
Good work.
Thank you.
All right. Good. Okay. Thank you all for coming and participating today. I know a lot have kind of already left so far, but that's okay. So thank you so much, Sebastian. If you want to stick around, I'll just kind of talk through that issue with the yearly payment with you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laurie.
We'll see ya. Yeah, no problem.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right.
Yes.
Here, let me unmute you, Sebastian. Hi, Sebastian.
Hello, I'm there.
Okay, so you're trying to get into that yearly program.
Yeah.
And were you able to work it out as far as, let's see, I'm just reading your message here. Person can definitely take my monthly plan, the yearly plan. Okay, yeah, so the yearly plan would just kind of be from now for a full year. I can't remember how many months you've kind of been so far, but if you paid for the yearly plan, it would just kind of then start now and go for another full year. Okay.
Another full year. Okay.
That makes sense?
Actually, I tried to, like after first maybe webinar, I tried to purchase, but due to my credit card problem, I could not make this purchase. Since then, I was like contacting with my bank also. My bank said that they will solve the problem by October. Then I had a communication with you, and finally I again communicated with bank in October, and at the end of October, they said we are sorry, we could not sort it out yet. So that time I was like having appealing you to upgrade my my plan. So don't you think that it is possible to update now from since when I started?
So you want the yearly membership to start from October? Is that what you're
From my
saying?
from when I start, maybe I started in September like that.
Okay. So you want the yearly to have started back when you first enrolled in the basic?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we could probably make that adjustment and kind of see from there. So just kind of do the difference of what it was based in when you started. Okay. I think I'm understanding. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and look at that and kind of look back at when you started and how much you've paid so far, and we'll kind of adjust that and wrap the rest of the payment
so far
into one payment.
I have given.
Yeah, so kind of subtract what you've already paid and pay the difference for that yearly.
Yeah, and my question is whether it is possible to pay by the credit card or the other person, because I am in the Philippines. We have some people here who are willing to pay for me, but I asked this question before also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did we just not understand what was going on? Yeah. So yeah, you can use the credit card of another person. You just have to make sure that your same email address is, the email address is the same, so that it keeps your account the same. Does that make sense?
When I buy, I use my email address.
Yeah, so it would have to be the information from the credit card, but with your email address.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. And let's see, shoot me an email right now that just says, here's, I'm wanting to upgrade to the yearly. What do I need to, what do I need to do? So I'll just reply to that and figure out what needs to happen. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sebastian.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Yeah, absolutely.